because you did door to door. If you didn't have return visits or Bible studies letting you in, you were door to door. And that's what it was like. And so I did that till 21, and I stopped pioneering because I had to now really support myself, because at 21 my father died suddenly. And I had to deal with that. I had to work full time now, necessities. It was survival. I had to buy food, contribute to the upkeep of a house, food and shelter, car insurance, health insurance, all those things. And so I started a cleaning service. I had a few people working for me from the Kingdom Hall, because they're the most honest people, But I wanted to read something from Dr. Jerry Bergman, and he wrote a book about JWs and the problem of mental illness. Now, I'm just reading it now, and I've been reading it for the last 6 months, and I wanted to tell you, I'm going to read this, and this is the last time I'm going to read it, because after I read it, I felt like going to New York and burning every building down. He said, by encouraging menial work, one of the most common occupations of witnesses is custodian or janitorial work, mostly cleaning. They force witnesses in a situation where they have neither the time, the inclination, nor the mental or physical energy to involve themselves in extensive mental reflection on the organization and its policies. This is an important mind control technique. Well, we know why so many witnesses are in the cleaning business, don't we? So I continued, going to the meetings, going out in service. In my 30s now, I decided to get a 2-year business management degree. It took me like 8 years, one course at a time, because, college was okay then in the 80s. And then something happened in the year 2000. 2 elders, after the meeting, said, we'd like to see you downstairs. That was quite common for me, because I was in trouble before, but I couldn't imagine what it was this time, because I thought I was being pretty good. Someone accused me of doing something. Now, it wasn't true, but they accused me of doing something, and of course we all know what the biblical procedure is. If you see your brother doing something, you should go to him. And well, the person didn't follow it. They went to their parents, they went to their elders, they went to their family. It went around the hall. Everybody knew about it but me, one of those, okay? And in our Tamaqua congregation, everybody's related. You could have 80 publishers, and 50 of them are related. You go against the family there, it's like going against the Kennedys, Yeah, this is what it was like. No joke. If you have 8 elders, 6 of them are related. How do you go against that? It's always been like that from the 70s, 80s. It's just, they just intermarry, and this one's related to this one, and they all live in the same area, and So I said I didn't do it. Okay, that's the end of it then. My friend Mary Ann said, everybody has a right to face their accuser. I said, yeah. So? She said, everybody has a right to face their accuser. Don't let them get away with that. And I shrugged it off, like, who's going to go against the elders? And who's going to win against Tamaqua, And it was God's Spirit, I believe, that turned in me and said, you know what? I think I am going to challenge the elders on this. You know why? Not because I was right or they were wrong. It was my motive of revenge. I was so angry with everything now at this point in my 30s, sacrificed everything, and I thought of all the times that they interrogated me and questioned me about who I was bringing to the Kingdom Hall and humiliated me, questioned me about other things, and watching me and taking me down the cellar. And I thought, here's my chance to get back at them, because I feel I'm right, because Mary Ann's a Christian for years, and she knows her Bible, and I trusted that she's going to help me through this. And so I did. I questioned them, and boy, were they shaking in their boots, because they knew they did not handle this right. As a matter of fact, we all went back down to the basement, and I brought the elders down to the basement. And we all came down, and one of the elders wasn't there. I don't know if they purposely forgot to bring him or what. And I said, no, we can't do this. We can't do it. We got to do it right. Everybody's got to be here. And the elder said to me, sorry, Elaine, go get him. And he came down. They were afraid. And so that wasn't enough, though, you know. I thought, well, they're all related. They're all together. As long as I'm going to get revenge, we might as well do it right. So I waited patiently for the circuit overseer to come. And I told him. And I told them what happened. I went over their head. You don't do that, right? No. But I did. Because I wanted to humiliate them and embarrass them. And I did. And you know what? Things weren't the same after that. I wonder why. I didn't trust them. I doubted their authority. I saw their hypocritical ways. I started to miss the meetings. I started to miss service. I became inactive. They started to visit me. And then a year later, 9/11 happened. And all the anger in 2001. I still thought they had the truth, though. I went to a few memorials because I felt guilty, you know, I was going to die at Armageddon. But I felt confused and angry. And everybody was caught up in America. What's going on? What's happening to our freedom? I got caught up in politics. I got caught up in terrorism. I got caught up in Al-Qaeda. I thought our freedom is being taken away by religious fanatics. And I start to think, you know, it sounds like the JWs. They're taking our freedom away. People are living for a group, dying for a cause, all in the name of God, conform or die. And I thought, well, it sounds like the JWs. Dr. Bergman, again, he wrote something about terrorism, and I had to say this because it just fascinates me reading this. He said, many of the contemporary so-called terrorist groups also stress that the needs of the group are more important than the lives of individuals. This belief, common among witnesses, is therefore not unusual. So I was confused. I was afraid. Are Jehovah's Witnesses still right? I was afraid of man. I was afraid of the organization. And so for the next 6-7 years, 2002, 2003, 2004, I started to feel content. You know what? I'm just going to die at Armageddon because I can't take these rules and regulations. I just felt depressed. I was starting to drink more alcohol and to deaden the pain, and the anger just was on a roll. I also started to read ex-JW books. While I was out of the Kingdom Hall now, I had time to think and read. But I couldn't get over leaving. I didn't want to disassociate myself because I didn't want to give up, people talking to me because that scared me to death. No friends, the people that I'd known for 30 years not talking to me, I couldn't take that. I started reading Walter Martin, the cults. And then one day, it started, with Marianne's help, it started to click. They don't have the truth. And that's when I realized it a few years ago. And I didn't know anger till I found that out. I thought I was angry before. I used to think, how could people go into a post office and kill everybody? They're so angry. How could they do that? I would never do that. I'm a JW, we're good. We'd never do that. I understand how that can happen. They say, oh, the quiet type, they would never do that. They were so quiet. I was quiet too. I guess we're all capable of it, Anybody's capable of anything, I think, really, if you get mad enough. And I was mad. Thank God I never did anything. Let's get the tissues out now because I don't want to dig for them later. I had thoughts of getting guns, registering them. In my name, I'll do it. I thought it through. I will go into that Tamaqua Kingdom Hall, and I will take everybody hostage. First, I'll call CNN. I want the world to know, and I'm going to straighten them out. I'm going to know what they did to me. I blame them for everything. During this time period, I blame them if somebody cut me off in traffic. If somebody didn't pay me on time, I blame the witnesses. It's the witnesses' fault. If I had a headache that day or a sore back from cleaning, I blamed the witnesses. It didn't matter. I blamed the witnesses. My anger was on a roll. I found out what happens when you break things. I found out what happens when you break a door window, a calculator, you kick a bucket. I can't tell you my anger. I was angry at the elders. I couldn't wait to get here last year to see these elders. Todd, aren't you glad I stopped at Jones before I stopped at your house? I was mad at God. That's the most important thing here. And whoever he was, I had no fear of God. I had no fear of God. I was mad at him if he did exist. I wasn't really sure. I entertained that thought that maybe he doesn't exist. I felt I could do what I want. I could do anything I want, everything I want. What I couldn't do as a witness, that was important now, from the little stuff to the big stuff. I started throwing the Bibles out, throwing the literature out. Drank more alcohol because now I'm in my 30s and I was getting a lot of aches and pains from cleaning with no job or education or future and no, IRA really saving. And then September 2000 came. How many here saw the movie September Dawn about the Mormons? About 5, 6 people. I'd like to see it again. I wanted to go see it when it came out. And like I said, it's the background of the Mormons, and I'm not going to go into it because it was a very violent movie. But it told about the Mountain Meadows Massacre in Utah. Whoa. If you could take that, watch it. I want to watch it again now that I'm in this mindset. I heard the name Jehovah used, and the religious fanaticism, and they thought they're doing what's right, and we're the truth, and they killed the parents, and then they brainwashed the kids. Whew. My heart was ripped out. I left that movie in tears. In tears. I went to go see this movie, and I was so upset. And I said to Marianne, I don't know who God is. And the next month, she got Joan Setnar's number. But it was Setnar. That name I was afraid to call. So I waited 6 months. And we had a snowstorm. And I thought for surely she'll be home. And you know what? She wasn't home. So I had to get enough courage to call the next week again. And she answered. And I said, I need help. I need to talk. And I went to her church, and she prayed with me and talked with me in hours and weeks and months and evenings. And then she brought this book out again. Boy, it looked familiar. It was revised in 2001, if I didn't mention that. But when I started going to church, I felt a spirit of God. I felt a peace and a calmness that I never felt before. Of course, it wasn't the truth, I just wanted to go. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to talk to an ex-witness. I wanted to talk to somebody who understands on my anger. And going to church with the prayer and the songs, I felt God's Spirit there. What I also felt, something I never really felt physically inside, I felt a sick feeling in my heart. You feel pain in the heart or joy in the heart, but I felt a sick, horrible, poisonous feeling coming out of my heart when I would go to church. It was all that poison, all those shackles and chains and fear and torment from the Kingdom Hall that was coming up. I would cry in church that I couldn't stop.